New York Jets stink. They're headed to Cancun. If any of y'all want to borrow this shirt, you can. You can. I mean, or you can get it from Amazon. Actually, that's where I got it from. Like $20. It comes with matching shorts. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. But anyway, we got some questions. I mean, I don't even do. I got some questions. I'm thinking Boy Green got some questions. I don't know if we're gonna get answers. I don't even know if this regime cares about answering anybody's questions anymore. But we gonna ask them, and I definitely want to hear your questions if you have some. So come on, let's just ask away. We are live. It is Boy Green meets Wudi.
Can you guys help us get a jet chant here? Yeah, going.
Oh.
Okay, right, yeah. Come on in.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go!
J-E-T-S, jet, jet, jet! Let's go! J-E-T-S, jet, jet, jet! Let's go! There you go, Wudi!
Third Party Thursday.
Chris joining us here on the program with a capital P here on the program.
Jake Asman, come on down. How you doing, good sir?
Wow, what an intro. I mean, Boy Green is known for having the intro, but Wudi, that was unreal, man. Thanks for the kind words, son.
We are men of many names.
My favorite Austrian Jets fan right there,
Yeah.
baby.
Boy Green
Meets Wudi. Welcome to another episode of Boy Green Meets Wudi. It is your boy James Wudi, and you already know we are Wudi, rocking everywhere. Right here, my man who's slow motion for me. My man right here, he is the boy who became king, rocking a beanie. Oh, we are the Beanie Boys. He is none other than Mr. Paul Esden Jr. It has been quite some time, actually, since you've seen both of our faces on your screen at the same time. It's been a full 7 days, and I know I, for one, have missed seeing this face next to mine. How are you doing, Boy Green?
You know, Wudi, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you, and Happy New Year coming up. You know, I got to spend it with family, and that's treasured for sure. And then my family left on Sunday morning, early afternoon, and then the Jets went 4, and then they kicked me right in the balls. Just right between the legs, right in the family jewels, right in the ball and chain. And that was painful. And quite frankly, it's painful for 4 straight times for the Jets to lose by 20-plus points. So, quite frankly, I'm overflowing with questions to your prelude. I'm unaware if I will get the answers I'm seeking, but I got the questions, and that's half the battle.
Well, if you got all these questions, let me throw one. And of course, right. like I say, I love everybody active already, on YouTube at BoyGreen25, at on YouTube at Take Flight Talk. I'm loving all the engagement already. Feel free to answer questions, ask questions. And the first question that I'm going to ask is, has there been a bigger threat to the peace and well-being of New Yorkers since Osama Glenn Laden became the head coach of the New York Jets?
Wow. If someone would have said, hey, Paul, I'll give you 100 guesses to guess what Wudi's first question is and how he frames it. Not sure I would have gotten there in that frame and fashion, but that's why you're James Wudi. Take Flight Talk, baby, which, again, quick reminder, subscribe now. Take Flight Talk, baby. Boop! Right there on the screen. Make sure you do it for Christmas, for God's sakes. All right? And make sure Wudi can afford more of those shirts. All right. The answer to that question is absolutely. His name is Steve Wilkes. Come on now. Steve Wilkes has challenged the democracy of the United States. Steve Wilkes' damage is more troubling to me than Aaron Glenn's, even though in some sense you could be like, don't worry, Paul, it's over. Steve Wilkes isn't here anymore. But I just saw the defense on Sunday, and it looks like the ghost of Christmas past, where there is Steve Wilkes is there because The Jets can't change the defense with 3 weeks to go. The defense is the defense. You change the maestro, but the orchestra is the same. Someone else is waving their hands in this motion, which I don't know if it really means anything. Does everyone already know the song and there's just some guy going, I'm not sure. I didn't go to that school. But I'll tell you this, that it looks the same. The same level of shit, the same level of garbage, the same level of clop, as one fat bastard said in Austin Powers. Okay, this defense looks terrible. So no, I would if I'm going to start pointing fingers, playing the old blame game. Kanye West, Jesus, great song on the Twisted Dark Fantasy album. I would say Steve Wilkes would be the answer to that question, James Woody.
Well, the thing is that Steve Wilkes isn't here, and they're still playing like this. The offense does not look good. I mean, it's not just one thing. The whole team stinks and has given us the worst December since 1972. Is that the stat? There are so many historically bad stats. I can't remember which ones are in the history of the NFL and which ones are, from, since 1972.
Well, the December one is worst of all time. So the point
there you go.
Is worst of all time in December, and currently on the Jets scale of things for their own personal franchise, in terms of the totality of the season, they're third or fourth worst in Jets franchise history. So we're not even at the end, baby. We still got a game to pad those stats.
And guess who's been here from the jump? Osama Glenn Laden. All right, he is the one that came. He tore down the players we had, the roster that we had. He's still here. And again, this December, I mean, the worst of all time now have been corrected. And you guys keep wanting to say, oh, well, Dan Campbell, he won 3 games. And, the Lions, now they're a decent team. Well, guess what? All 3 of those wins came in December, right? They beat a Minnesota team that was in the wild card. They were in the wild card. And the Detroit Lions said, skirt, slapped them out of the wild card. The Vikings missed the playoffs. That's the type of division heat that I'm looking for out of a coach. Those are the building blocks that you then use to parlay into the next season. Aaron Glenn is not doing that at all. He's not even limping to the finish line. He is dead on arrival. There is nothing to write home about in the month of December. They losing by 55 to Drake May. They losing by 55 to what is this man? Tua got benched the next week, and the New York Jets had him looking like John Elway. This is nothing at all like Dan Campbell's regime. So I need you guys to keep Dan Campbell's name out your mouth. Right now, this is the reign of terror. The reign of terror by none other than, I'll say it slow, Osama Glenn Laden, the biggest terrorist in New York City today.
Wow. There's a lot to unpack there, Woody. There's a lot to unpack there. I will use the unpacking as part of an opportunity to throw a question back at you. The Jets have one more game left in their season on the road against the Buffalo Bills. It will be the final game in that stadium because the Bills, while they can play for some level of seeding, it is 5, 6, or 7. The division is gone. The Patriots already won the division. So I ask you this, Woody. If Aaron Glenn goes into Buffalo and beats the Bills under any circumstance, Bills bench their guys right from the beginning, Bills bench their guys in the middle of the game, whatever, does Aaron Glenn get any credit for beating the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo if that happens? Because you showed me a very interesting graphic, Woody, a while back. We collabed, as we young folk do, on the gram. And Aaron Glenn is still winless in the division. But the interesting thing is context gets lost in history, right? You showed me Rex Ryan went this coach went this coach went this. If Aaron Glenn beats the Buffalo Bills and he's 1-5, I don't see myself 20 years later going, wait a second, but that win came against backups in Buffalo. No one's going to remember that. So if he gets the win, it will be on the docket. So I turn it to you, Woody. If Aaron Glenn gets the upset, And right now, the Jets are understandably prohibitive underdog in that game. And here's the graphic in which we referenced. And let me turn off the scrolling ticker so we can see it in all its glory from back then. Aaron Glenn is still on the over at this point, and a few more O's were added to some of these other opponents on there. But
Yes.
this is the graphic back then. I ask you, Woody, simply, would Aaron Glenn get any credit for, whoa, you just took out the Buffalo Bills? Whoa, hey, you didn't go winless in the AFC East, buddy.
I think you actually said it pretty well. That in hindsight, yes, Salah would then be the only one with the donut in his name. You're not gonna remember that fine print, but I think there's just too much like all those different stats. The only team, I feel like bigger than the win right now is simply getting an interception. Like if
say that one more time.
I said bigger than the win right now to me is like getting an interception. Like there's just too many like dubious distinction, like just all these terrible stats around this Aaron Glenn era. Like I'm talking about stats that we didn't have to deal with Salah, didn't have to deal with Gase. Like this was first of my lifetime. As we already said, first in NFL history for a lot of them that we're experiencing. So I don't know how much, beating the Bills, if anything, because now everyone's talking about draft pick. They're talking about Dante. They're talking about Fernando. So I don't know who would be happy. If they were playing competitive football this whole time and they beat the Bills, it's like, okay, nice. Hang our hat on that, like what I just said with Dan Campbell. But they've clearly they haven't done a thing. They've been, like I said, dead this whole month. So to then just randomly win against the Bills backups, I mean that's cool. It's cool. Hopefully you got an interception during that game. But I think there's just too much just stank on this year. Okay.
I just used my first charge time out of the half. I wanted to pull this up because I saw it was a question here. And just because we're tangentially on this, I want to explain it to, was it Nanga Iboko? How far could the Jets fall if they win on Sunday? Let's go the magical world. Woo! The Jets beat the Buffalo Bills. Here's what would happen. So look at your screen, folks. It's the top 10 currently of the 2026 NFL draft thanks to Tankathon. So the Jets are a 3-13 team. So, of course, they would drop to the 4-win category. There's two teams that have 4 wins. It's the Cleveland Browns and Washington Commanders. If the Jets beat the Bills, which means they would drop in the draft order, they would then be tied with the Browns and Washington with 4 wins. Again, Cleveland or Washington could win, and this could change what I'm about to say. But the floor for the Jets, if they lose, is 7th because Browns and Washington strength of schedule is better or worse, however you want to perceive that. Because like better or worse versus strong or weak, that's confusing for some people. So just long story short, the Jets would lose the tiebreaker to both Cleveland and Washington. So Jets could go from 3 all the way to 7 if they win. So it could have a dramatic impact. Now, again, Browns and Washington could win, so then it could just be 6. So, or some of these other teams could win. So some other things can happen. But the worst second half of the Jets can't drop any lower than 7 because every team after that, Saints, Chiefs, Bengals, those are all 6-win teams and obviously 1 game to go. The Jets can't catch any of those teams. So I just wanted to explain that to Nanga, and I know a couple other people were asking about that to go through. Now, normally, Woody, when we do this dance with one another, it's playing tennis on Wii Sports, and then you, and then me, and we're going back and forth, pong. Yeah, we're getting all kind of video game references, but I actually want to follow up with another question, if I may. And you mentioned the Aaron Glenn so you mentioned Aaron Glenn and all these dubious stats. Like they have not gotten an interception. As you all know, it's the longest streak of games. It's the longest start to a season. And if they don't get an interception on Sunday, they'd be the first team in NFL history to go through an entire season. And there's more games than ever to not have a pick. My question to you, Woody, is do you put that at the feet of Aaron Glenn? Because I've heard a lot of people, Jake Asman was on local TV. So shame on me. I'm in New York. I don't live up in that area, so I'm not as familiar with the TV stations. But he was on the sports channel, and shout out to Jake, suit and tie, all dressed up. And he was like, Aaron Glenn in his career has over 40 picks as a Jet, yet they don't have a pick. What the hell? There's been a lot of Jet fans I've heard throwing similar things at Aaron Glenn. Like, hey, buddy, how does your team not have a pick? The last time I checked, Aaron Glenn ain't suiting up out there. He's not, well, which we could use him with all the injuries, but he ain't suiting up out there catching interception. So I don't put the blame entirely on AG for this, but do you, James Wudi?
100%. And you should be ashamed that you don't. That's his jurisdiction. I'm tired, and they keep saying, defensive coach, defensive minded coach. He already said, very early that it's not about defense or offense. He's a coach. And I'm gonna have to wholeheartedly agree because everything about his defense absolutely stinks.
But it's not his defense. It's not his defense. It's Wilkes' defense. It's the position coach that coaching defense. Aaron Glenn is the head coach. He's not working.
He's working on both sides of the ball. He should be in charge of his chickens when they hatch. And right now, nothing is hatching. Okay, he had the opportunity to have DJ Reed, somebody who I saw get a game-winning interception on primetime television today. He didn't care about DJ Reed. Instead, he got Burnt Toast Stevens. I'm not going to sit here and say that Sauce is an interception magnet, but he does lock down, a decent amount of the field to force it to other people's direction. He had a roster with, 3 All-Pros, a couple Pro Bowlers in there, and they had no problem. A lot of these players that played for Aaron Glenn had no problem picking off Jalen Hurts 4 times with Robert Saleh, Mahomes 3 times, Josh Allen a bajillion times. I'm gonna have to wholeheartedly hold Osama, complete fault for this dubious distinction, and he should be ashamed.
Complete fault. That's just so over the top, which I'm not surprised coming from you, James Wudi, Captain Over the Top, which often happens.
Don't CBW's tweet up here because
quick, I want to give a shout out to Boss Girl. Okay, Boss Girl here who says, so if we lose, more hate for AG, and if we win, even more hate for AG. You nailed it. Apparently, that's exactly what is in store for AG, this poor bastard, coming up on Sunday. But no, who's coming? Do you want me to highlight here?
CB Dub.
Oh
no. Well, yeah. That's a fact. But the one that's less obvious is if you had your way. He's insane. Oh my gosh, he's done nothing wrong. Oh my gosh,
I didn't say that.
Give him another chance. He's under contract for 5 years. Give him 5 years. We all have 5 years, right? It doesn't matter that we're in the longest playoff drought in all of North American sports. No,
how is that AG's fault? He wasn't here for those 15 years.
I'm not blaming AG for that, but I'm saying there's a sense of urgency that we should have that you guys don't have.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing that bothers me is that, okay, and Nick Faria, we just did an interview with him on our MCU Show digital channel. He said something that I hadn't really thought about, which might explain some of the anger. But so many people are so angry with Aaron Glenn, and rightfully so. The Jets have had like one of their worst seasons of all time. If they lose to Buffalo, which is more likely than not that they lose outside of an upset, that would be the 3rd team in Jets history that's lost 14 games or more in a single season. 2020, Adam Gase's final year. Rich Kotite's final year in 1996 was 1-15.
And hopefully Aaron Glenn's final year. You see that 10-point green. Final year. Why would he get another year after that?
Yeah. So, but the thing is just like people are so angry at Aaron Glenn that they're like blaming him for everything. Like if they go outside and it's all icy and they slip, like son of a damn Aaron Glenn, that bastard. And then like everything is Aaron Glenn. I'm saying that I'm not absolving him of blame. This and Boyd out of his way. None of the Jets failures would be Aaron Glenn's fault. That's not true. We're going to another extreme. There is a gray that exists in between. Everyone in this society is so black and white. It's this or that. It's up or down. There's nothing in between. There is in between. Okay. I don't think Aaron Glenn is responsible for all of the problems. I also don't think he's immune from all of the problems either. It's somewhere in the middle. on some of these issues. And I don't think Aaron Glenn should get the blame for everything, because if you're going to give him the blame for everything, say, what a loser. He sucks at this, sucks at this, sucks at this. And it leads people to say, well, what good does he do, Paul? What good does he do? You're Captain AG Truther over here. What does he do? Well, some of the things you guys love about personnel decisions, the last time I checked, AG was hired before Darren Muji. The last time I checked, AG is the one that is the reason Darren Muji's here. Lance Newmark was going to be hired. Who the hell is that? Oh, yeah, that's that guy in the Washington Commanders front office. He was set to be hired. And AG said, nah, I want somebody else. And he got Muji in here. So the Muji guy that you guys all love, he basically hired. And also, Aaron Glenn is final roster say on everything. So a trade, Juwan Briggs, you're giving credit to Muji. Some of that credit goes to AG. Jarvis Brownlee, any of these trades that they made, guess whose desk it has to come across before it's official? A freaking G. So again, I'm not trying to take all the love away from Mooj. He deserves some of it too, but so does AG. It is a mixed bag for AG. Mostly bad in a 3-14 year, but it's not all bad. I don't know. I can't understand the people that are separating here and saying Mooji's a superstar, AG's the problem. If you like some of these things, there is no way in my mind that Muji is a Western, a gunman out there going, pew, pew. Hey, AG, guess what? Check in your mailbox. Jarvis Brownlee's yours. Pew, pew, pew. You're welcome. Oh, Juwan Briggs. Pew, pew. Here you go. I was just patrolling the saloon out there, and I just found this Juwan Briggs guy. Hope you can use him. No, these are conversations. There's depth here. They talked, and maybe AG said, this Juwan Briggs guy is interesting. And then Muji and him talked it out and said, yeah, let's go get that guy. It is a collaboration where someone wears the pants in this relationship, and that's AG. So can we give a little bit of credence, a little bit of love to AG, man? Come on now.
No. I don't care about Juwan Briggs. No disrespect to him as a person. But what do you mean? We got Juwan Briggs. What impact does that?
He's been very nice.
Did that make on the team? Is he in the Pro Bowl? Is he doing something of value? I don't understand how. See, and that's that. You literally just proved CBW's point. Others have said in the chat as well. You out here just trying to glass half full your way into trying to say that AG hasn't been one of the worst head coaches in the history of the NFL.
So you're saying AG should be fired?
Yes. Well, let me ask you this. Okay. Yeah. Now we asking questions. Okay. The Steelers and the Ravens, they play.
Yeah, Sunday Night Football, final game of Week 18. Yep.
Both fan bases want their coach to be fired if they lose.
Crazy. Yeah.
If that were to happen, and one of those guys, I'm not right because we don't know who's going to win. Either of those coaches hit the market. Is Boyd Green making a call?
I'm not.
That is why you're insane. That is why you have a problem. That is a serious issue. That is a serious issue. You have Stockholm syndrome. Okay with all this losing, and that's disgusting. No. That's disgusting, Boyd Green.
Let's go to, I'm going to use, we're on a game show. Let me use my phone a friend option. I'm going to go to the audience of this one. Audience, find the remotes under your seat and click the button of what you think is the truth. Oh, wait, let's go to it. Nange Iboko, neither one of those coaches are coming here. All right. I'm going to go with that choice. You said make the call, okay? And make the call, I would not. Because here's the thing that happens. You make the call, and let's say it leaks out. We've seen this happen in NFL lands before, that Woody Johnson made the call when the Harbaugh rumors came out. He was making calls when he still had the head coach, and those come out. And AG's like, whoa, I thought he trusted me. Then all of a sudden, the whole house of cards collapses. So to me, the risk is what? Call them and see if they're interested. And what if they say no, like a lot of us assume? Why in the hell would Harbaugh or Tomlin come here when there's better options on the table, with all due respect to my own team? The Giants would be more interesting than for Tomlin or Harbaugh than the Jets. They have a quarterback. We don't. We hopefully have a path to get a quarterback, but we don't know. We don't have it. It's a dumpster fire right now. So, no, I don't anticipate Harbaugh or Tomlin potentially taking this job. So why would I make a call? Why would I make a call to Megan Fox and just see if she's available? I heard she's with MGK, but let me just give her a ring and just see what happens. No,
Every
no,
single
thank you.
time a star player becomes available, you always say, "Oh, let's make a call." Why not make a call for Lamar? Why not make a call for Burrow? Now all of a sudden, and you know, you tried to hide behind, "Oh, they're not going to come here," but your real reason, the heart of your reason is because you don't want to offend Aaron Glenn. There's something wrong with you. You're so loyal to this bum who has done nothing for you. And let me say, I'm gonna say this too. Aaron Glenn himself said that there's a price for everybody, right? Even his wife. You make the right offer, blah blah blah, right? He already knows. Like, he's not dumb. He's not. He doesn't think that he's totally straight right now. If you're going to make decisions based on, will this hurt Aaron Glenn's feelings, then you've already lost. You've already lost.
No. Okay, I'm sorry I'm faithful. I'm sorry when I put a ring on somebody, I'm committed to that person through high and low, through thick and thin.
It's all low.
There, when the priest was there, he said, till death do us part, through the highs and the lows of the mountains and valleys. And you were like, this relationship's a little rocky. Hey, is there a nice, lady of the streets that's available at 2 a.m? Like, come on, man, be faithful. Be faithful. I put a ring on it, and I believe I'm not just going to one rough patch. I'm like, well, this relationship's over. No, I'm going to see it through. I'm not going to overrate to 1 year. And by the way, if I may, who's been starting at quarterback? Oh, that's right. Brady Cook, who friggin' stinks. Let Brady cook. It's been boiling. It's been burning. It's been a disaster. And the Jets quarterback situation has imploded. There's been injuries and all over the place. And they traded their 2 best players at the deadline. What in God's green earth did you expect to happen for old AG? You're calling him this worst coach of all time? But look at the ingredients that are on the table, okay? He's struggling. And also, they made a concerted effort. It's not just like ingredients. Hey, didn't Aaron Glenn get the ingredients? They willingly grabbed the caviar that was on the table that they could have used in the dish, and they threw it out the window for the future. They traded it away. Caviar is no longer on the table for one Quinnen Williams, for one Sauce Gardner. So they knew the dish wasn't going to be as tasty, but they thought, in the long term, it's going to work out because we have money in the bank account to get better ingredients in the future. But for now, it's going to hurt. And tanking is a painful experience, as we're all sort of going through right now.
That's literally disgusting how you're justifying. There's a difference between like losing, losing. You know, you're going through this. You know, and that is a common experience. People experience it. The Patriots just experienced it, but we're talking about historical ineptitude, not able to do simple things like catch an interception. Like, that's something that hasn't been done. Do you know the NFL's been around 100 years? So 100 years and all these different things that he cannot do. He has not been able to do.
So let me ask you this. So this interception thing, because you keep bringing it up, okay?
Well,
so what do you?
That's low hanging fruit. But there, I mean,
let's talk about that one first. So what do you think AG's not doing? Do you think in practice he's like, guys, here's what I want you to do. When the ball hits your hand, just go and just drop it. Is he teaching them that? Like, why? What is AG clearly not doing that's not translating to players that they literally can't catch an interception? What is AG not doing in practice? What is he not doing in the film room?
Is to get their players in position to make plays.
He's got them in position. They caught the ball in the hands and then dropped it. He's put them in position. What you
even brought up that stat about drops and how low that number was.
It was a couple weeks ago.
Drops.
The stats have changed.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you even know, but now all of a sudden, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what happened. Maybe AG like slid into your DMs or something. Like, now all of a sudden, your team Aaron Glenn. I don't know if you got a tattoo of him on your back. Okay. Now you've been giving him the let's do 5 years like the whole time. So you're right. But like, you should be able to adapt to new evidence. Like, I was trying to, rah, who want to fly with them Jets? Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying. But the evidence to the contrary is so overwhelming, Boy Green. It is so, there you go. And he got the rope burn on his hand. Check his hand. He got no more skin on his palms. That rope burn right now. Like, the evidence to the contrary is so overwhelming that I just cannot do it anymore. There's no point in hoping. Like, that's all it is. It's just a hope that for some reason something was so bad can somehow become so good, because it's never been that bad for the teams that turn it around, like the Lions, like I already mentioned before, like the Patriots that have turned it around, the Bears. It's never been as bad as Aaron Glenn is right now. So I don't understand why we're gonna say, "Oh yeah, he's the one that's turning around."
Let me give a quick plug, by the way, and hopefully you guys get a little something from it, because that came from a little bit of my conversation. Earlier today, I recorded an interview with ESPN's Rich Cimini. He's been covering the team for nearly 40 years. If you're a Boy Green Coffee Club member, that interview has already been available to you for several hours. But at 5 o'clock, 90 minutes from right now as we're doing the show, it'll become available to the public. It was a wonderful conversation for 20-some-odd minutes with Rich Cimini. I wish we had more time. We would have dug into even more action. It's my first time talking to Rich since before the season. And I asked him about Aaron Glenn's job security, and he gave a very emphatic answer about his future. And we explored some other topics as well, which I found fascinating. Also, my boy Lavernius Coles, who's now a police officer in Jacksonville. Great story that Rich Cimini did, one of my favorite Jets players from the past. So, again, you guys can tune into that. And he gave, and I'll put it as a YouTube short as well, Rich gave about as emphatic of an answer about Aaron Glenn's job security as you could possibly give. So that's your tease, everybody, for that coming up at 5 o'clock on the Boy Green YouTube channel.
Can't wait.
Thanks, Bart Scott. All right, what's your next question, buddy boy?
Brees.
Oof.
My guy who low-key killed me. I was going against him in fantasy.
Oh, wow.
I was so happy that he got, the 46 yards that he needed. That's only, 4.6 points. And then, he decided to run for a 59-yard touchdown. It's a little bit more than that. Pretty unfortunate. Did he do enough? Do you think he will be a Jet next year?
First off, Brees getting 1,000 yards?
Who want to fly with them Jets?
Before I answer futuristic questions about this or that, Brees Hall finally doing it in year number 4, getting that 1K. We've been talking about that forever and a day. Brees! Cup the hands for Brees. It was funny. Someone texted me this, that like after Brees got his 1,000 yards, it went back and forth. Like he had it and then he lost yards and then had it. And then the 59-yarder just made it emphatic that he had. Someone said, and then Brees got hurt on the sideline. They're like, ooh, Brees got hurt as soon as he got that 1K. And I was like, come on, man, that's not right. So some people were throwing shade at that. To answer your question, is Brees Hall a member of the Jets next year? I say yes. Now, you ask me in 2027, is Brees still a member of the Jets? That's where we get froggy. To me, this was something I had it on my notes for Rich, but with his limited time, it would have been a back and forth, and I would have enjoyed it with Rich. In his Sunday column, he said that the Jets are very interested in bringing back Brees. And I said, oh, that's fascinating. But Rich said he wouldn't give Brees a franchise tag if it was up to him. He thinks the Jets want to keep Brees Hall really bad. We'll see what Brees Hall thinks of it. We don't know that. But Rich Smith, said he wouldn't give Brees Hall a franchise tag. And I'm just curious because, the contract he projected for Brees on his podcast this past week was a 3-year deal for $30 million, $10 million per year. For those who don't know, that APY is Aaron Jones-ish, which is tied for that number, which is borderline top 10 running back money, is what he would have. And if I'm Brees, and I'm clearly going to be the best running back free agent that's going to be out there, when you look at age and everything else that's included, there's some other good ones, Travis Etienne and a few others, but Brees is going to be arguably the best running back that's available in free agency. If I'm Brees Hall, and if the Jets are not going to use a franchise tag on me, which means if I wait, I'm getting to the open market, why would I take a deal from the Jets early, especially at $10 million per year average? So top 10 highest paid money, that's more than he's making. On his entire rookie contract, he made $9 million. So to make more than that on a per year base on a brand new deal is a raise. But if I'm Brees, I owe it to myself to see the market. Now, Jets, if you don't want me to see the market, use the franchise tag. It's $14 million. You want to use the franchise tag and block it, so be it. But I don't understand why Brees, or why the Jets I understand why the Jets may not want to use a tag. $14 million is a lot of money. That would be third highest paid running back in football based on APY. So I understand why they wouldn't want to do it, but they may have no choice. They may have to block it because they had a chance to get a 4th round pick from the Chiefs. They didn't take it, which by the way, I'm cool with. They should have gotten a 3rd. Chiefs shouldn't have been cheap bastards. Jets would have a 3rd and Brees wouldn't be here right now. That's what should have happened, but it didn't. So now we live in a new world. Now that the Jets did not get the guaranteed pick for Brees, you are motivated to keep him now, or else you look like an idiot. Because who knows if you're ever going to get that comp pick? You just have over 100 million cap space. It's very likely they're going to sign some free agents that's going to cancel the Brees Hall acquisition that when he departs potentially, and then you get nothing for Brees. So if you're the Jets, of course you're going to try to keep him, and the only way to guarantee to keep him is with the franchise tag. So I think they are forced to franchise tag him because if I'm Brees, I'm pushing my market, and then maybe. Because the franchise tag deadline extends to July. If you tag somebody, so long story short, you can work out a long-term deal for a couple more months. If you tag somebody, it expands the negotiating window. Maybe they're able to knock out a long-term deal during that pocket of time. But if I'm Brees, I force the Jets' hand. I'm like, if you don't give me a deal that I think is good, then I'm not taking a sweetheart deal. Then you better tag my ass or I'm hitting the market. So, yes, I think Brees Hall, long story short there, will be a member of the Jets in 2026. In 2027, little up in the air.
That's crazy. Crazy. A lot of things. I won't break down all the different things that I find offensive with that. But I will say that, if I'm Brees, I'm probably I'm trying to leave. I'm trying to get out of here.
Yeah.
But I think what we saw during the trade deadline is kind of indicative of, where his market is at. I think, he could get away with, I always said 3 for 36, so that's 12, as opposed to the 10, that you keep referencing. And that's, I feel that's probably
Rich's number. Let me just, if I didn't explain that, the 10 million per year average. Oh, okay. I just wanted that was my number. That's Rich Samini's projection of what you would do. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, do you have a different number? Because that was the only number that you kept saying.
Oh, yes. The only other number from.
Do you have Boy Green, one?
Yes. Yeah. I also have a number, but the other number I wanted to give that I didn't give from Rich Samini, he talked about this on his podcast. He had the article, so sorry if I'm mixing any details of wherever it came from. But he says he believes Brees can get as high as 12 million per year. He believes that's the tip of the iceberg of market for Brees. But Rich said he would do 10 million per year. So that's a gap. For me, I would do, let's call it 10.5 to 11 per year. You could push me to get for Brees, but the curious thing is what Philly is talking about. He's saying give him 11.5 to 12 million per year. That gets done. I'm curious the number that gets it done. The number that I put on in front of Brees and his agent and say, here's the number. We don't want you touching free agency. We want you to take this right now, and you don't get to explore the market. What's the number that has to be put in front of Brees Hall where him and his agent are like, all right, we'll take it. Fuck free agency. We'll take that. Thank you very much. It's got to be a pretty compelling offer. It can't be too low. If it's too low, Brees is like, yeah, pound sand, buddy. I'm hitting the market. We'll see what the market says. And then at that point, now it's risk. It's the Saquon Barkley thing we saw on the Hard Knocks. Does Saquon, or in this case, Brees, let's say he reaches the open market. Let's say he gets whatever offer from the Texans, whatever random team. Does he come back to the Jets and say, hey, here's the offer. You want to match it? Or does he go, yeah, fuck you, Jets. You suck. You can't win games, and I've had horrible luck here. I'm going to some winning team. I'm getting buco bucks and going to a winning team. So I'm curious if he would even give the Jets a chance to match, because that's not guaranteed in this open market waters. But I am curious, to Philly's point, what is that number? To me, you could probably push me to 10.5, 11 million per year on a deal before free agency to get him locked in. That's probably something I'd do.
I can't lie. Texas would be a fantastic fit for him. He would be eaten in that offense.
Cowboys or Texans or what?
Texans. I thought that's what you said. You said the Texans.
Yeah, I said Texans. I thought you said Texas. So I thought you were saying both.
Oh, no. Oh, well, I mean, no, Javonte, I mean, he had a fantastic
He's a free agent, though.
Well,
he signed a 1-year deal. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's like my big fear And I guess I value Brees differently than you do. Well, that's been the case the whole time. But you got a rookie coming in, maybe, or somebody's coming in. And when I talk about the weapons, think about the things that they have at their disposal. Offensive line, right? That's most likely not going anywhere. Garrett Wilson exists. Mason Taylor exists. But I feel like Brees is that game changer who, in the run game and in the pass game, you can put him out wide. He runs routes. That's not something that everyone does. It's just not. It does, efficiently, effectively. So I just, there would be a big loss that I don't think, in free, even if, we did a Brees Javante swap. I know Javante obviously had much gaudier stats this season, but I'm not sure if he is as versatile of a running back as Brees. So definitely looking at that. But do you have your next question? I have one if you don't have one.
Yeah, I have a question about a question. CBW says you two disagreeing at times makes for great content. At times, it would be easier to list the times we haven't agreed or haven't disagreed. But before the time, like at times, we disagree every day. Like I'm like, hey, Wudi, do you want water or soda? Yeah, I want this, and I'm like, oh, geez, I want this, and then we're arguing about the air we breathe in our lungs. So at times, with all due respect, that is a lot more than at times, I would say. We got nearly 200 people in the room, by the way. Like the video, hit subscribe on YouTube, no matter where you guys are watching. Me and Wudi do this dance twice a week. That's all we can handle. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 o'clock. Again, folks, make sure you subscribe at Take Flight Talk on our YouTube channel here. You may be watching this in 5 different destinations: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, my YouTube, or Woody's YouTube. But give a big shout out to Take Flight Talk. Surged over 200 subs here over the holidays. And hey, we're trying to surge for some more, for God's sake. So show some love at Take Flight Talk here as well. Yeah, another question I sort of want to get to you here, Wudi, because I know how important Week 18 is to you and the X's and O's of Jets-Bills. Is it Hendon Hooker time for the Jets? With how Brady Cook is looking through his 7th interception in limited opportunities. That's 7 picks and 3 fumbles now for old Brady Cook, unless there's another turnover I'm missing from the New England game, which is possible. So that's 10 turnover-worthy plays, if you want to call him in that way, for Brady Cook. Is it Hendon Hooker time, who was the QB2 for the Jets this past week? Tyrod and AG and everybody dealing with a weird personal situation. AG refused to expound upon that, which I'm totally cool with. Tyrod, hopefully he's okay. But whatever personal situation happened, it looked like that could still linger here. And Justin Fields out for the season. So Hooker could at least be the QB2, but I'm saying maybe QB1 in Week 18. What say you?
He's personally tanking, all right, and he's just doing it in a way that's way more amicable than Max Crosby. That's what's going on there.
And who's doing that? You said
Tyrod. What are you talking about? They out here, they gotta do a solid. So with Hooker,
hey, wait a second here.
Oh,
hey,
Craig, my guy. Let's get it.
Just subscribe. Let's go.
Appreciate that. Appreciate you big time. Yes, it is the most wonderful time of the year, the holiday season. I appreciate it. Take Flight Talk. We trying to take flight, baby.
You just jumped over there on Take Flight Talk, so thank you.
Yeah, on the
so did that, hit that hey. Right to the cup. Hey, on the Euro. Very nice, Craig. Thank you, and thank you, everybody. Again, another reminder real quick. Again, Take Flight Talk. Make sure you support Wudi. Woody's a brilliant content creator. He does great work. And I know a lot of you may just be here on Boy Green Daily and the Boy Green channel. This is just how you consume Wudi, is every time we cross-pollinate. But again, Wudi does his own content that's exclusive to his channel that we don't see over here. Some is both. Again, the Wudi is a collab, so you could find that on my channel as well, along with his. But all the clicks go over there. Take Flight Talk. But folks, make sure you show your support, please, and thank you. Thank you, Craig, for joining the TFT Army. But yeah, sorry for
Yes.
interrupting you. Go ahead, Woody.
No, absolutely no worries. That's the best interruption possible, baby.
Oh, all right. Keep that.
No, I'm actually afraid of Hooker right now. Because
Is that something you should talk about on this show?
and you heard me hesitate because I was gonna say, and then I was like, I knew you was gonna say something, Boy Green. I knew you was gonna say something, but no, because Cook is doing his thing, and the New York Jets are almost certainly gonna have the 3rd overall pick, and that's a nice place to be. Especially if Mike Tomlin is available and we need to secure somebody. Hey, come on now. Your first real young franchise QB since Big Ben. Come on now. Maybe one of these, other candidates, that 3rd overall pick, the drop between, oh my God. Hey,
Kevin James.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Vroom. We out here. Come on now. When it rains, it pours. I'm about to get an umbrella out here. I appreciate the love. And yeah, I think we would actually all agree at this point that the drop from 3 to 7 is like borderline catastrophic. You know what I'm saying? You're on mute. But
yes, I just agreed. Devastating. That would be. I mean, we're talking about different worlds. Whether or not if you want a quarterback to trade up 3-1 or 3-2 is way different than 7-3, 7-2. Sometimes if I'm a team at 2, I wouldn't even consider the call from 7. I don't give a shit if you give up your firstborn son. I don't want to go back that far. I want talented players. 2-3, I know I'm getting the same player too. I would have gotten at 3 plus the picks you're going to give me because let's say I'm the Giants. I don't need a quarterback. So, but dropping down to 7, I'm like, oh, I don't know about all that. Hell, Giants could drop to 7. If they beat the Cowboys, Jets could move up to 2. Giants could fall to 7 because of strength of schedule and those 4-win teams that we talked about. So they could be in the same shithole the Jets are. So that's crazy.
It is. Yeah. So I definitely, just, put in Brady Cook, do that thing, get that L. And we'll look at the situation next year. And that actually perfectly ties into my next question, which is, and I know I have a feel for your answer, but I would love to hear it from a Muji and AG perspective. Is Dante on the menu? Is there Dante? Is there Fernando? What do you think? Is on their menu right now in terms of prospects in the 2026 draft class.
By the way, quick shout out to Boss Girl who says, Kevin James and I went to the same high school, LOL, Award Melville High School in Setauket, New York, which, by the way,
Mick Foley, my guy. I think he went there too. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Well, I'm about to give another one. I don't know if it goes on the same turf as those, but Rich Cimini, I was trying to look up a picture because I do it's all this fourth wall stuff of all the stuff we do to make sure we get the content to you guys. I was looking something up and Rich Cimini got inducted to a Hall of Fame like 10 years ago. And that Hall of Fame is in Setauket, New York, which is crazy. So we're getting all this cross-pollination here, which is great. So again, thank you for all the subscriptions there as well. But is Dante Moore on the menu? Fernando Mendoza, Ty Simpson on the menu? To me, if you're a Jets fan, this week we have the next round of the college football playoff. We've got Ty Simpson versus Fernando Mendoza. We have, it's the second time it's escaped me who Oregon plays the day before they play tomorrow, but it's at like noon or 4 o'clock or something. I'll check that in a second. But whoever the hell Oregon plays, we're just getting these looks at Dante Moore, Ty Simpson, Fernando. And if you're a Jets fan, you want them all to play awesome. You want them all to play well. You want them to kill it. Texas Tech, thank you. Yes, okay. Yeah, I knew it was, thank you. So if you're a Jets fan, you want all of those guys to play well. Dante Moore played very well in the opening round. Now, he was playing some slapdick school, but he was playing very well. Indiana had the bye, so we haven't seen him. Ty Simpson, we saw the crazy comeback against Oklahoma. So, yes, I think they are all on the menu. Now, I'll take a step back to say this. I try to be transparent with people when I can. I've seen 4 or 5 Fernando Mendoza games this year, so I feel like I have a pretty good sense of Fernando, and I like him a lot. Dante Moore, I haven't seen enough. I've seen a handful of his games. Like, obviously, Oregon played Indiana, so I saw Dante Moore when he was facing off against Fernando, and there was 1 or 2 other ones I may have seen, but I haven't seen enough for me to have a strong enough opinion on Dante. So I'm looking forward to all our draft experts that will be joining us on Boy Green Meets Wudi and Boy Green Daily to give me more info that have been watching all year long and give me good takes about it. Same, I've only seen very little of Ty Simpson, only a game or 2 here or there. Again, not enough to be able to give full analysis of him. But the things that scare me about the quarterbacks that have limited experience is it goes back to the Mark Sanchez days for the Jets, when you just have such a limited sample size from college. And if you look at trends and things of that nature, there is not a rich history of success for quarterbacks that had limited experience in college and then just suddenly hitting it off. There's exceptions to all rules, of course, but that's something that scares me. And while no matter who the Jets draft, I have hopes that we will develop them in a case where they're not the starter week 1, as cool as it would be to immediately get your franchise quarterback to play. And we have the offensive line and Garrett Wilson stuff. And that's sort of intriguing. The Jets had unbelievable line health this year. They haven't had that kind of offensive line health in 13 years. Do we have to wait another 13 years to get that level of offensive line health? That's the thing that scares me. If you go, let's say they somehow end up with Fernando, and then they say, you know what, our offensive line is good. We could just throw him out there. And then you immediately have injuries. You can't go, just kidding, Fernando, you're back to the bench. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube once you make that decision. So that's the thing that I fear a little bit. So I want whoever the quarterback is they draft, whether they have a lot of experience or not, to sit and marinate on the bench. And still, I don't know. I get a little bit of the heebie-jeebies when you don't have enough of that experience. Like Fernando was at Cal, who's at Indiana. Like, he's been around enough where I'm like, okay, I've seen enough of him. I don't know if I have of the other 2.
Shout out to my guy Dano from the Danger Zone on Take Flight Talk. Both chats are just popping off right now. He said Dante Moore is Deshaun Watson. With the Texans.
Oh, with the Texans. Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's initially he's Deshaun Watson. We're all like, oh. Yeah. So it's kind of a roller coaster there. Yeah.
I mean, if that's the case, obviously that would be a fantastic deal. My big thing about the QB now, like whoever we draft now, they have an O-line. I know you just said injuries, but like technically, this wasn't even. The O-line that we were supposed to go in with. We had an injury. I know that they were, super healthy, right? The same combination. But I'm saying, I feel good about that room, the depth. We'll see what happens in the offseason in terms of AVT, Simpson, what happens with that interior. But I feel good about it. I feel good. Garrett Wilson is better than any receiver Sam Darnold played with as a Jet. Obviously, Zach played with Garrett. But to me, Zach was the wrong choice. And Darnold was the right choice, didn't build around him. Zach was the wrong choice, and we actually built some people around him. This time around, the offensive line, like there's even more to be excited about on the offensive side. Mason Taylor has sure hands. So it's really just a matter of the coaching. Like, can they get this kid up to NFL speed? And that, I know whatever side you're on with the Glenn situation, it's like Aaron Glenn looked at Justin Fields' clip. It's not about who else was there. Nothing. It has nothing to do about that. No, it really doesn't. Because he said that other coaches haven't used Fields to his potential. We see what he can do. And we're about to show you guys what he can do as a QB. And they low-key, like, kind of obliterated his career. Like, after the Steelers, they were able to convince you, 4-2, right? I was trying to help you guys see through it. You didn't want to. But, like, now, all these games of 60-yard passing and all this type of stuff, like, they gave him his worst season as a pro. So how can I then trust this exact same staff to look at a QB, say, ooh, this is how we're going to use him. We're going to bring out the best. and actually expect that to happen when they failed so miserably with Justin Fields.
I can step back and see what you're saying. That when Aaron Glenn continues to say, because he's been asked a few times, sort of the variation of this question, like, what's your message to Jet fans after this debacle of a season? And he's like, hold on to the rope. We've got a plan. We've got a plan. And then, Wudi, you're like, well, that other plan you had said this, and it didn't work. Now you're just saying, oh, no. But this is the plan for sure. This is definitely the plan. That other plan, those crap. It's this plan. This plan is for sure. It reminds me of a Christmas Story. They go, I've never made this comparison in my life, so it's so funny this just randomly hit me, that the family, goes out to the Christmas tree lot, and they have to get a brand new Christmas tree. And then the used car salesman / Christmas tree guy, he keeps trying to sell them trees. And he's like, look at this tree. And then the wife goes, I don't know. This seems a little piney. And he's like, yeah, this tree's crap. I'm just kidding. This is your tree. It just keeps trying to sell them on a different tree, despite the fact that it's all kinds of shit. And then there's all this negotiation. Aaron Glenn is the used car salesman Christmas tree guy, is trying to sell us on these plans. It's hard to believe when we keep seeing these other plans that are failing. So I can take it, even as the AG truther, I can take a step back and see some of the holes in this where it's like, oh, I don't know. Another thing, by the way, another random shameless plug to the Rich Cimini interview that comes out in an hour, is that I told Rich one of my big concerns. Okay, AG, if we think he's coming back, okay, he's coming back. But here's my concern. If he comes back, there's a lot of changes that have to happen. One of the big ones for me is the offensive staff. Our current quarterback coach, his name is Charles London. This is a guy, for those who don't know, was a longtime college running back at Duke. He played running back at college at Duke. After his playing days, he became a running backs coach forever. And then like 4 years ago, he's like, you know what? I think I'm a quarterback coach. And then he got this quarterback coach job. I think it started out with the Falcons, and he sort of bounced around a little bit. And now he's here with the Jets. And now you're supposed to tell me, hey, quarterback development plan. We got running back coach, quarterback coach Charles London, Tanner Angstrom, who's calling plays for the first time at the NFL level this past season, this current season as he's wrapping up. Like, that's the plan. I say, Rich, that's where you're sort of losing me when you're trying to sell me on the message. I asked him, is it possible? Could we get a guy that either has experience developing quarterbacks or has a successful track record quarterback, and we just add that to the group? I said that would make me feel a lot better. And I brought up, God rest his soul, Greg Knapp. Like, Napper to me was the glue that made me feel a lot better about the young offensive room. There was Mikey, a little Mike LaFleur, but I felt a lot better about Mike LaFleur, besides the last name and some of the success he had as being a San Francisco disciple, is Napper he was the glue to the operation. This is a guy that worked with all the biggest name quarterbacks in NFL history. I felt good about the operation because of him. Unfortunately, we never got to see that. A tragic accident during the break between mandatory minicamp and training camp. We never got to see Napper, and then everything was screwed, and that stinks. And me and Rich go back and forth talking about it, and he agrees with me on that missing piece. I wonder if Glenn just has the self-awareness to look at his own. So, okay, defense obviously is going to get blown up. Steve Wilkes fucking blew, and they're going to get all kinds of new coaches in there. But that he has the self-awareness to say, obviously the offense wasn't great for a lot of reasons. Like, what self-scouting can I do on this offense staff that I need to fix? This is a pivotal offseason for the Jets, and there's a high chance they're taking a quarterback. It's not 100%, but I think there's a very high chance they're taking a quarterback in some form or fashion in this draft. And they need to have the right infrastructure, because that could be Sam Darnold. It could be screwed because you didn't put enough around him. Let's flip-flop history. Let's have Sam Darnold come out in the 2021 draft, and he's the second overall pick. And info, what the hell happens when he has weapons and offensive line and everything? Do we always have our franchise quarterback, and we're talking about a different parallel? Who knows? So the infrastructure has to be right, and that's my biggest concern here for AG, to have that guy added to the room. And Rich Cimini seemed to indicate to me that AG could hire that guy in the offseason, and that gives me a little bit of faith that it at least is possible.
Yeah, would love to bring in a head coach and just have them do it, but
yeah,
we'll see what happens there. The offense has been terrible. Not good. That is an understatement. We don't even have a receiver that eclipsed 400 yards. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I know, like, I keep leaning into the same, like, one or two, but it's just like I said, low hanging fruit. Like, there's like 20 stats that say that this team is just like not good. Like shouldn't even be in the NFL. I saw a comment, we were heated talking about something else, so I couldn't highlight it. But they asked, would they be able to, if they played in the NCAA playoffs, like the Jets played in the NCAA playoffs, would they be able to win? And honestly, I don't know. I literally don't know. Yeah, I was trying to look up, see. Yeah, because there's just so many. But this season has sucked. Aaron Glenn has been horrible. And the like you said, this emphatic answer, we might have to put up with another year, which is so catastrophic because you're gonna waste like the quarterback and then fire him the next year, and then now we're in that situation where the quarterback learning 2 playbooks in the first 2 years. So
well, let's throw a question in. I'll throw one more in from the chat. I wanted to ask some variation of this, so I'll go to Jets Worldwide. Wide. Shout out to Johnny Boy and Snowball. Again, Johnny Boy, hopefully you're continuing to heal up at home, coming home from the hospital. Aaron Glenn out, Clint Kubiak in. Clint Kubiak, for those who don't know, is the Seattle Seahawks offense coordinator. Obviously, you should recognize the last name. His father was one of the renowned coaches of this generation. He was wonderful. But he's a guy who also is a first-year guy. And I think a big criticism of AG was not only was he defense, sure, that caught a lot of shit, but like he was a first-year guy. Now we're going to get rid of one first-year guy and go with another first-year guy. Sure, he's on the offensive side, which is supposed to be sexier, and he's doing great things with Seattle, but I don't know, man. Another first-year guy, is that the answer, even if it comes on offense?
I think I've said this, a lot of times. I do not want another first-year head coach. I don't care who they are. I don't care who their daddy is, who their mama is. I need somebody who's done the job before, because that you lose a lot of times. Not all the time. Look at Liam Cohen right now. They win in the division. The Bears, Ben Johnson, they win in the division. So definitely there are exceptions. But what we've seen is that whole year is like a mulligan that we have to just excuse, and then now, and that's on this hamster wheel right now. We're literally on the hamster wheel, just doing the same thing over and over. And I'm tired of it. Bring in the head coach who's done that before, where year one is not a learning experience. It's not, I've done this before, I know what to do. Let's get the system in place. So Kubiak, I'm not trying to disrespect him whatsoever as a coach, and I'm sure he'll probably go somewhere and be the next Liam Cohen, be the next Ben Johnson. But for the New York Jets and what we have at stake as fans, I would not pull the trigger. I need to get somebody in here who's done it before.
All right, let me go to this one because Jet News, and I know we're going long here, but Jet News asks, Boy Green, at what point do you hop off the Glenn trade? If we start 0-6 again next year, are you done with him? You sort of paint the line for me. I say give AG more time. It's not fair to judge him off 1 year. The quarterback play is among the worst in football. Part of that is, of course, him, roster construction and injuries and things. Some of it you can't control. You can't complain about injuries. Everyone deals with injuries. To me, if that was you lay out 0-6, if he's 0-6, I mean, Aaron Glenn is on absolute life support. I'd be curious. Woody Johnson has 25 years of ownership, has only fired a coach midseason once. So was Robert Saleh. Would he do that in essentially back-to-back coaches? That would surprise me. So if he's 0-6 or whatever, that I'm just using that because that's the example that was presented. Like, sure, he would be toast outside of some miraculous second half season saving. Even if he doesn't get fired midseason, he'd be done at the end of the year, and then we're resetting. And while some would view that, Wudi, you sort of painted the, if the Jets draft a quarterback this offseason and then Aaron Glenn and everybody gets fired, then the quarterback, is that even going to be the quarterback as a new team comes in? There's all this extra crap that goes along with it. I would still say that the Jets, if Aaron Glenn starts 0-6 next year and they have to move on from him and he's off, if we go to 2027, I still think the Jets would be incredibly attractive to a team. Right now, the Jets are set to have over $200 million in cap space in 2027. They would have 3 first-round picks in 2027. Some coach wouldn't want a piece of that action. He gets to define the next era. So that's why I think it's worth it for me to go back into the AG train and not be too hasty and judge him off this and fire him. And then we're back in the cycle again of whatever they decide to do. I say give him another year. We go through 2026. Again, if we reach at a point, even if he doesn't get fired midseason, we're like, okay, this dude's done. He can't start like that again. That just can't happen. And they get fired. I still think the Jets could command any coach on the planet within reason to take this job in 2027 armed with 3 first-round picks and $200 million cap space, and the players they have on this team of Armand Membu and Olu Fashanu and all these other guys on here. I still think that would be it. So yes, am I off the train if they start 0-6? Absolutely, I am off the train if they start 0-6. 0-6 historically, for that to happen 2 years in a row, I mean, there's no comeback for that.
And let me make something very clear, because I've seen some comments and stuff about like the hamster wheel that I was at. The hamster wheel. We hire these defensive coordinators, make them first time head coaches, and we give them time. There's too many people commenting right now, and then also in my DMs they're talking about like we can't just keep firing head coaches. We never do. What are you talking about? We gave solid 4 years. Bowles got his time.
4 years for Bowles.
4 years for Bowles.
Now, just to give
Gates
you
was
context,
the only one that literally got, he got 2 years. So I don't understand this concept of we keep firing head coaches, and no, what we keep doing, and this is a hamster wheel, is getting a first time head coach that was a defensive coordinator, giving them 4 years and having nothing to show for it and making all these excuses this first year. That is what we're doing right now. So some of you in there, I don't want to call y'all out, but you guys are doing that. And you guys got that Stockholm syndrome. Let me give you some names of one and done coaches in the last couple of years. All right. Yeah. Of course, the big one, Gerard Mayo. All right. This is my favorite one, because he was a former player for the franchise, just like Aaron Glenn. So much support from the owner, just like Aaron Glenn, but absolute ass. If they lose to the Bills, right? If the Jets lose to the Bills, Gerard Mayo would actually have a better record than Aaron Glenn. But he was fired, and now the Patriots are literally the AFC Kings. One season, one turnaround. Stop trying to sell me on 5 years. Stop. Okay? Let's go. This is the name we've heard of once or twice before. Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh, I think you're going to go Steve Wilkes. Wasn't he one and done too?
He was one and done, but that was with the Cardinals. I don't got a lot to say about the Cardinals.
Okay, fair enough.
Interim with the Panthers, and the Panthers, are now division leaders of their own. But who did I do? Nathaniel Hackett. Bringing him in. This is what I'm trying to say about like the Tomlin Harbaugh thing. If you can bring in a guy like that, I don't care who's.
Do you think you can?
What?
So you brought up that example to me, and you were not satisfied with my answer. And most of my answers I've ever given in the show's history I haven't been satisfied with, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But you tell me this. So do you believe if Tomlin or Harbaugh shook free, which, by the way, everybody, refresher, there's an AFC North Championship playoff game on Sunday night. The winner is in. The loser is out between the Ravens and Steelers. It's just that simple. And there's been a lot of rumors that the loser of that game could see some massive changes, whether it's Harbaugh, Lamar, or Tomlin, or Rodgers too, potentially. I guess all of that could flip and change all over the place. Are you telling me that you believe if one of those two shook free, whoever, flip a fucking coin, it doesn't matter who it was, if either of those guys flip free, you think that the Jets would have a legitimate chance to bring that person in?
I do. Like everything that you said with the picks, like okay. I'm not seeing the same like calamity. I'm seeing the same, the records and everything is bad. But in terms of infrastructure, games are won in the trenches. They have a bajillion picks. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing that as a possibility. So that's Nathaniel Hackett, and of course, how quickly did that turn around with Sean Payton? Now they're winners of their division. Lovie Smith, Texans.
Lovie.
They haven't missed a playoff since. Like, this is not, an anomaly. Of course, you had the Steve Wilkes thing, And then who else is next?
The Panthers, right? They did that to several coaches, Frank Reich, and that was a disaster. So,
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But now they're.
I mean, it eventually worked out. I guess.
Eventually, that was 2 years ago, Boy Green.
But I'm just saying that no, they one and done multiple coaches, right? Because some of it was more than one and done, right? Matt Rule to Frank Reich. I'm just saying there was a path of destruction.
He wasn't one though. He wasn't one and done.
No. I'm correcting myself. I'm saying he wasn't one and done. I'm just saying the craziness of Tepper, right? There's all kinds of stuff going on down there. But yes, fair. They did turn it around. Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. Look at all these franchises around the league that actually have urgency to want to change their situation. They changed it, and within 2 years, they either won their division, made the playoffs. In the Texans case, they've done all that and haven't missed the playoffs since. And you guys just want to give people 4 years, like we're electing the president of the United States. Stop giving people 4 years. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Look and see what's happening. Look, and you know what's actually super funny about this?
All right.
So Mayo went 4-13.
Okay.
Pierce went 4-13. Nathaniel Hackett with the Broncos won 4 games. Lovie Smith won 3. And these are people all better than Aaron Glenn right now. They better than Aaron Glenn.
All right. Okay, so you gave a lot of great examples of, hey, look at these one and done coaches and look what immediately happened after. Let's go to places where they didn't one and done them, but if they had, they would have missed out. Jimmy Johnson went 1-15 with the Dallas Cowboys. If they would have asked him, well, who knows what would have happened? Chuck Noll went like 2 or 3 wins.
Are you going to bring any? Because my examples were from the last 5 years. You have any this century?
How does that change what I'm saying?
Because this is today's NFL. Come on now. Talk to me.
But why does the older examples bother you? What are you, an ageist or something? The
What do you mean?
I'm just
talking about today's NFL.
Yes.
So much has changed in the last 30 years. Okay.
But no, the key is that someone had a bad first year, like a lot of these other coaches. But it's like Tom Brady, right? If Tom Brady, as the 5th, 6th string quarterback in Michigan, and then the whatever string with New England eventually gets a job, there are a lot of Tom Brady's out there, of backup quarterbacks that never got their shot because it never happened. The starter in front of him never got hurt, so they went through, held the clipboard, then left. And we never know if they would have been a success or not. We just all assume, they weren't. So head coaches, if they would have been gone after their first years, Jimmy Johnson is in the Hall of Fame. Chuck Noll's in the Hall of Fame. These are just examples of guys that had shitty first years, and the plug could have been pulled on them. It wasn't, and they were able to turn it around. There are obviously other examples of guys that were first year terrible. They should have pulled the plug. They didn't, and then they ended up being terrible.
There's none in the there's literally, that's what I'm saying. In today's NFL, there's none of those. There's nobody who has had a December like Aaron Glenn that kept their job. There's no one like it. And that's what you guys. On the surface level.
But was he trying to win? Was he trying to win?
Is Aaron Glenn trying to win?
He was clearly.
That's what he told us. We're here to win games. I can clip that up right now. Put it on the show.
Clip it up right now. Then call him a liar, I guess. But like in the month of December, was Aaron Glenn trying to win games? No. They clearly waved the white flag at the deadline. They got worse from pre-deadline to post-deadline. They got worse. They traded away.
They won after the deadline. They didn't.
That's still. That's an immediate dopamine rush. They got worse. Their roster was whatever you want to call it before. I don't want to over exaggerate. You call it A+ before, and then it fell off. It wasn't A+ before, but I'm just saying that like their talent level was much higher before the deadline, much lower after the deadline. They may not try to lose on purpose, but it's not like AJ's like, hey, drop those interceptions. That would make me feel a lot better if he did, because that would explain how they don't have any interceptions. But the fact of the matter is that they were worse. They were basically trying to lose games, and they've been successful in attempting to tank and lose these games. So we're saying, Adrian, what a horrible coach. It's not like they had
that's
whatever roster.
A submissive Stockholm. I can't believe you're saying that. So then what culture are you building by intentionally trying to lose games, Boy Green? What culture is that? How are you building a foundation to build upon next year?
You are building picks and free agent money and all those kinds of things.
What does that do for the guys in the locker room? What impact?
You want the honest truth? It's probably this.
Dan Campbell was not doing that in Detroit. He was not losing games in purpose on Detroit. They tried to win games, and they were winning toward the end of the season. But you're telling me that Aaron Glenn decided to lose the whole season, and so, he's building a culture.
Did you see Deion Sanders' speech to Colorado when he was first hired?
I could have. That was a long time ago.
Okay, so I'm just going to give the example. There's NFL examples of this, but Deion's a big name. When there was a camera on him, and he's addressing the team. He just got hired. He goes into the room. And he goes in this passionate speech about, I'm going to be honest, most of you aren't going to be here next year. Most of you are about to enter the transfer portal after I'm done with what I'm about to say. And he just said, he went on a mini Mike Singletary rant. We want winners. And he's like, and I'm going to assess this roster, and there's a bunch of losers on this team. I'm paraphrasing, but a lot of you guys are going to get out, and there's a storm of people surging out. The truth about AG and this Jets situation is a lot of these players that suck in this 3-13 year aren't going to be here in 2026. If we're being honest, there's going to be probably a 50% roster turnover from this team from this year to next year. So all these players were like, oh man, these players suck. They ain't going to be here. It's Magic Johnson. We ain't going to be here because they're not going to be here. AG's bringing in all kinds of news guys. So to overreact to the players that are here, like Brady Cook or who was talking about Brady Cook?
You were the only person that mentioned Brady Cook.
He's the starting quarterback for the entire month of December.
What about Garrett Wilson? What about the entire offensive line? So you're saying that Garrett's cool with the coaches apparently intentionally losing since November?
What is the offensive line going to say? Oh man, this AG guy. How does that destroy anything of the culture?
Physical positions in football. They're putting their bodies on the line every single snap for a team that is intentionally losing.
Has the locker room imploded?
I mean, based on what I'm seeing on the field, it does not look like a team that is together.
It's not imploded. The locker room is just dandy.
Yeah, I don't know. What I do know, despite what you guys may think in the comments, this show is just dandy. All right, it's just that my co-host is he. Like he already said, he's loyal. He got the tattoo. He got the ring. So he needs to get his 4 years. Hopefully Wudi can just wake up from this nightmare and save us, especially if one of those coaches wiggle free after Sunday Night Football. Oh, my God. My phone is right here. I'll be ready to pick up the phone for anybody's behalf and get them on the team.
I want you to apologize, okay? Remember this date. December 30th.
Boy, you have so many empty promises. You already said, I want you to apologize. Remember this date. Because when Justin Fields is in the MVP conversation, when the New York Jets make the playoffs this season.
When AG gets his quarterback next year or over the months and then into next season, you're going to be like, wow, this AG coach is pretty damn good. That's what you're going to say.
No, because this is what happens all the time. And no matter how many times I have to correct you in hindsight, you still don't understand the foresight. You still don't understand. I told you about Fields. I keep telling you about move after move after move after move. And, it just in 1 year, out the other. So there's nothing we can do to help you. That's something I've already, come to peace with. But don't try to act like, this is coming around the corner. No, the only thing that's eventually coming around the corner is the Jets having to part ways with Aaron Glenn and cleaning the mess from this horrific era of football.
I can't even hear the words you're saying because my beanie's over my ears. So they're bouncing off. The words didn't even get in to go to the other side, baby. Beanie power.
All right. So, thank you guys. I mean, definitely an exciting episode. I appreciate Take Flight Talk, the channel, the growth of the channel that occurred on the show means everything to me. It's not too late to subscribe. If you had been following me, over the weekend, you would have known that the Osama Glenn Laden was not a surprise. You would have known that it was coming. And of course, other Jets takes. I got Abby on there. I got Michael K, college football player. So his perspective on the X's and O's are unreal. And of course, Abby has been one of the most prominent TikTokers in the game. always breaking it down. So we always produce content, and I'm actually live, pretty candid. I'm not entirely sure what is happening in this schedule with our show. I know we had a fantastic show today. We'll figure it out because obviously, it's holiday season, but you already know, Boy Green meets Wudi. We always bring the heat.
And last one here, and again, shout out the Danger Zone. Danger Zone. 206 subs for Wudi. So cheers to Wudi. And the only plug I'll have for you is, again, in 40 minutes now, we've been doing like a countdown to the ball dropping. The countdown to the Rich Samini interview dropping. Again, if you're a Boy Green Coffee Club member, and I saw a few Boy Green Coffee Club members says, "Ooh, can't wait for it to drop." For you, it has already dropped. It says members only, so you guys can watch that video if you're a YouTube member to the Boy Green Coffee Club. You guys should be able to access that right now. For those that are not, you guys can join and correct that and go watch that right now. At 5 o'clock, it'll become open to the public. I'll be sharing it out on social media. We had a nice little 20-minute conversation, covered a lot of ground, a great column that Rich Samini just wrote on my buddy Lavernius Coles, Jets legend. I love Lavernius, a really cool story. And we get into Aaron Glenn job security, the coaching staff changes I'd like to see, and a few other items. Some really good stuff in there. So, folks, make sure you guys check it out.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back. And hopefully Osama bin Laden won't be.
There you go. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Take